So welcome back to the channel. Today's topic will be talking about the things that you need to do before you start investing. So the first one is our favorite, credit cards. So credit cards charge something like 2% monthly, but this is actually compounded, which means that over a year, it is actually more than 24%. So in effect, this is a hurdle rate that you need to cross over before you can start making money if you invest while having these debts. So, and if you can achieve that, it's a very, very good return and it'll be something like the next Warren Buffett. So it's very likely that that's not who we are. So I'll use the analogy of saying that investing while having these high interest debts is akin to swimming with weights on each of your feet. So it is definitely dragging you down. So make sure that you clear this off before you start investing. So the next one is getting your insurance right. So there's actually two insurance that I would recommend for most of us. The first would be term insurance. So the purpose of term insurance is to pay out a lump sum in the event of the death of our dependents. In the death of us to cover your dependents. So besides death, there's also total permanent disability. So this means that you lose two limbs. So it can be something like one arm, one leg, or one leg, one eye, or both eyes. So the second one would be hospitalization insurance, also known as the integrated shield plan. So the integrated shield plan is a top up above your mandatory MediShield life. So this allows you to go private or even upgrade of your wards. So I think we should not focus on the upgrading of the wards because personally I think B2, B1A is still a public hospital. But in effect, what integrated shield plan does is let you choose a doctor of your own or even go to a private hospital. So this would definitely mean a faster treatment for non-emergency cases. In the event of emergency cases, I believe our public hospitals will still prioritize you. So that is not really a concern. The reason why we want to buy these early as well is to prevent any exclusions or loading when we start to have more illnesses. So for example, let's say you have a surgery or for your leg. In the event next time, if you want to buy hospitalization insurance, they may exclude injuries related to the leg, or they impose a loading, whereby it means that you pay extra just to get covered by that. And there are two that I would say you should avoid, which is basically whole life and and ILPs, which is the investment linked plans. So these are very high, give very high returns for the insurance agents who sell you these. So very high commissions. And where do you think the commissions come from? So the next one is make sure you have your emergency savings. So these emergency savings need to cover 6 to 12 months what you require every month. So why this is so important is actually to give you the assurance in the event that you lose your job or somehow require cash. So in this way, if let's say the market is not doing very well, you don't have to sell and realize your losses in order to get the cash you need. So it also helps you be mentally prepared because you realize you don't need the cash and therefore you don't feel pressured to sell out. So the next is to prepare for a market drawdown. So I think it's easy to read and to hear, but to actually mentally prepare ourselves is very different. So it is possible for the market to crash 50% and even 90%. But what we need to realize is that as long as we don't cash out, we haven't realized the loss, we are still invested and we can ride it out. Overall, the market has always been going on an uptrend. So for example, friends and people who needed the cash, who panicked and sold during the 2008 crisis or even the COVID crisis, they definitely missed out the strong rallies after. And after that, you need to play a catch-up game. And the last one is to really make sure you're able to commit and dollar cost average. So dollar cost average essentially means whether the market is high or low, you buy periodically. So for us salaried workers, it's akin to when you get your salary, you just put in a certain amount into the stock market every month, irregardless of the highs or the lows. So surprisingly, this will get you average returns, and yet these average returns actually beat 90% of fund managers. And the reason is that these fund managers who would charge a commission or expense ratio to their investors On long term, these will eat up at the returns, and therefore, when you dollar cost average into a low cost index fund, you actually beat them. So that's all for this episode. Thank you very much.